All right, you know what? I just want to jump right in because I want to introduce you to me. You to me. All right, I'm just going to jump right in because I want to introduce myself to you so that you understand about what I want to talk about. And this is generally what people will talk about, like, why should you listen to me? I'm an expert in this. I'm a blah, 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 blah. I've worked here and I've done all those things. Listen, you can LinkedIn me, you can Google me, you can do all of those things. But what's really important, one of the main things I want to share with you is that to a certain extent, these credentials don't matter, right? Everyone can be a self-proclaimed expert. What matters the most is like when you listen to this information from whomever you get it from, is does the information actually resonate with you? Does it feel like it hits home? Does it align with your values? Does it align with where you want to go in life? Because that's actually what's most important here. Because everyone's going to have a different experience. Everyone's going to have a different perspective. And the reality is that no two companies, no two product organizations, no two people and situations are the same. And so to a certain extent, there's not really a best practice exactly or like specific steps that you need to follow in order to get from point A to point B. If you talk to any product person, they can tell you their road is pretty windy, right? And we go through it because we love what we do and we love focusing on our customers. We love creating these experiences and things like that. But at the end of the day, just because someone, and this is no shade, I don't actually know any of these people, just because someone is an SVP at Twitter or, you know, director at Amazon does not necessarily mean that they have the best advice for you. So again, this is kind of coming from my experience as Brittany Canty, as a Black woman in product, a former developer, and then moved into the product. But this in no way means I talk for all Black people, all women, all Black women, all former developers, all product, none of those things. This is just me, again, her, her opinion on these things. And hopefully you can find some really good tidbits. And as one of my favorite podcasters will tell you, Lisa Nicole Bell at Behind the Billions, is eat the meat and spit out the bones. So again, take the things that resonate well with you and everything else, you can leave it behind. But I would love your feedback at the end of the day because as a true product person, this is going to be an iteration. I want your questions, I want your feedback, I want to be able to take your real life examples and give you some insight because at the end of the day, getting support, getting understanding is really important in product and in most situations, to be quite frank. Our first time here, all of this changes pretty frequently. I try and focus on providing the best content. So, you know, right now I'm on vacation. I'm in the Seychelles. So when the moment hits, you gotta run with it. So what am I gonna talk about? Well, I'm going to talk about it all, or at least all the things that come to mind, and then with your help, I can hopefully fill in some of those gaps. I'm just trying to share my experience about being a product person, working in startups, not even just startups, but like organizations as a product person, and kind of won't say I'm just supposed to drop some wisdom on you, but hopefully trying to drop some wisdom on you. And again, it's all going to be subjective. It's just my thoughts, but I do want to share it because again, I haven't seen a medium where someone who looks like me at a level that I'm at to be able to lean on. And the reality is once you get into certain industries, tech industry is a hard one. It's lucrative, but it's very hard to be a person and a woman of color. And getting that support is invaluable. And again, we will talk about a lot of that, of what support I have and what support I got recently that literally made all the difference for me. And not everyone's going to agree with me, and that's okay. And at times, we may have some good conversation, right? At times we won't, because the reality is that as long as it's productive, let me put it this way, as long as it's productive conversation, then I'm cool with it. Things where, you know, you just barking at me or we going back and forth, like, you can miss me with that stuff. Don't nobody have time. I sure don't have the patience. So in the most respectful way, you know, YOLO. Like, you know, gives it the flavor, the essence that this thing needs to stand apart from the rest. And why that's important is because it is coming from me, a Black woman. And a lot of the other experiences that you see out there about product, all the blogs, the books, things like that, are not from Black women. And I want to call out the differences because I've read a fair amount of like product leadership and how you do product and all of that bullshit. I shouldn't call it bullshit because like they do provide information, but again, it's generally from like a white male cisgendered perspective, and that is not the experience that I personally have felt, and likely you have felt. So, which is why. And speaking of, what will you get from me? You will always get honesty. I tend to be pretty blunt. I'm a Sagittarius at heart. Hey. So I don't beat around the bush. I will pretty much tell you things as it is, and as you can probably tell, my face is very, very, very much expressive, which I view as a strength because you'll always know where I'm at. And I don't pull punches, right? I feel like honesty is the best. Policy transparency is very important to me. Accountability is also very important to me. How can I put this? This is maybe the more realistic side, right? Like that is the idealized side, and this is like what truly happens behind the scenes, you know what I mean? And I just want to give it to you like truth uncut, and again, all from my perspective. So regardless of where I'm currently working, or when in time you find this, like these are just my perspectives from my experience and what makes the most sense to me. It's the sense for you, do what feels right to you. What's most important for me to impart is authenticity at the end of the day. So like everything that comes through will be authentic to me. All those things and more you will get from me. Maybe a little comic relief from time to time. She fancies herself funny. Making us feel like we have to be the problem, right? Because as we go through our career, as we like change managers or change jobs, it's like the only thing in common is us, right? So like the fact that it's not working, the fact that I'm not moving up, the fact that I keep getting into these situations, like it has to be me. I have to be the problem. But like what I realized a while ago, and I'm gonna say a while, again, all relative, but like in the last maybe year and a half, was that, no, it's not us. And I wouldn't say like I realized that piece in a year and a half, but what I realized in the year and a half is that it's up to people and women like myself who've made it past a barrier and realized that like there is a path forward, to share that with everyone else who are feeling like I can't get there. It's not I have to be the problem because of all the things that I mentioned previously. And so I just want to like throw it out there, that like it's not just you. It has legitimately been every woman, maybe not every person of color, because men of color, depending on their ethnicity, have a little bit of a different situation, but hella women of color specifically, and as well as other intersectionalities, have felt this way. And again, it's not you, it's kind of the system that you're working against. And it's why it's so, I cannot underscore how important it is to be so discerning about the environment that you give your talents to. And I wanted to say it in that way because it's not about you finding a job that pays you, because you can do that. There's so many companies here. There's startups, there's big organizations, there's VCs, there's nonprofits. Like there's so many variations of where you as a product person can be, that at times like you almost lose sight of like how vast that like proverbial sea is of opportunity, because of like what they've taught you to value, which is the brands that everyone knows. And let me tell you this, I am working for a brand that most people don't know, and I'm making a pretty fucking good salary, right? Like, you don't need to be working for Google to make $200,000. You don't need to be working for Amazon and like wasting your existence to be making, that type of money, or to have the life that you want to live, right? But you do need to focus on what you value, and to be able to find a company or environment that, as well as a manager, because that's hella important, we'll talk about it later, that aligns with those values, that allow you to not only be valued in that organization, but thrive in that organization. So let me just throw that out there. All right, my friends. Well, I think this is the end of the intro video. Again, if there's specific questions, please just let me know. Please comment below. Otherwise, I will start to share with you some of my thoughts and hope to hear back and have a two-way conversation here. All right, till next time. Whew. Beach moment. Okay, anyway. Oh my God, did I not even say my name? Okay, listen, right, not that. So hi, my name is Brittany Canty, and I've been a product management leader for a bit. Put a finger down if you've worked with a coworker that is just doing the bare minimum and is really just there to get a paycheck and is annoyed that you keep asking questions or asking them to do their fucking job.